driving. Begin program.
We're back again, folks. Back again to tackle the lies, the mistruths, and put the screws on Washington D.C. and get all that truth out of the politicians. Squeeze it out of them. Give them the Chinese water torture until they tell us the facts and bring us the light. And I am your host, Dril, the number one bitch.
You said you were gonna squeeze the You said we were gonna squeeze the truth out of the politicians. So you think the politicians know the truth?
I think they're hiding it. They got it, but
wait, hold on. I'm not doing it right. Let me. What? Look.
What's wrong?
You ever see that?
It's very unprofessional to drink on the air.
This guy thinks politicians know the truth.
Now, you know Larry King. I don't have his portrait right now with me, but if he saw you do that, I'm sure he would have a fit. He would shit his suspenders right up.
Larry King has a mug with him when he does his fucking show.
That's fake. That's stage coffee.
What does that mean? It's empty?
It's full of blanks.
You're basically, you, the world's biggest Larry King fan, you're accusing Larry King of lying with his mug. I don't think he would do that. I don't think he's that cowardly.
It's showmanship.
Do you think those suspenders aren't real? Do you think those suspenders don't go down to his pants? You think those suspenders aren't holding up his drawers so they don't fall down? His diaper flops out on the stage?
You know the first goddamn thing about showmanship and how to present yourself.
You think his glasses are fake? You think his wrinkles are fake?
Fucking pocket square. I got a pocket square. What do you got? You got a fucking.
What do you have a pocket square
gangster?
for?
The do-rag? What?
This? What is
that?
This is a kitchen towel.
Looks like a fucking diaper.
Alright.
It's all the shit coming out of your brain. Keeps it nice and tidy up there. No, why don't you introduce the fucking robot?
Yeah, let's not introduce me. I'm me. I'm Derek.
You introduced yourself by acting like an asshole.
I'm a journalist. I'm a writer. I am a truth seeker. I'm an independent, which just towards anything. Nothing ties me down. I'm sort of like a free bird. But I'm also a critical bird, like the raven. A corvid, you know, something with good eyesight. Not a COVID. It's a different thing. And also joining us, as always, except for the one time it malfunctioned, Truthbot.
I am Truthbot. I live inside of the computer. Thank you.
And tonight on the program, let's just get right into the issues here. We're going to be talking about something I started noticing people talking about on Twitter about 2 years ago, and that's the topic of depression. Before then, I never really seen it mentioned at any point in my life, but it's recently become kind of a hot button issue. I think it's because of, with this coronavirus thing, people are spending more time indoors. Maybe they're like looking up, what diseases are popular that I can get at home without going outside and touching people. I don't want to get coronavirus. I can just do this by myself. And so depression's in the news again. Mike Pence has depression. We just found out this morning he went and got diagnosed at the Army hospital. So we're going to be tackling the issue of depression from each of our different viewpoints. Of course, I represent sort of, I'm usually do like the more correct factual viewpoint, and then Dril does, he does the first one so that mine looks better in comparison when I do it after him.
We'll see about that, I think it's a whole bunch of hooey what we're talking about today, but, I believe we prepared a clip.
Yes.
Let's roll that
Yes.
footage.
They're all damaged. These look like they're destroyed and they've been in the garbage. That was is that the kind of music you
That was
listen
some
to?
truly dire shit.
Was that stuff supposed to
Oh,
make you
man.
depressed, or what was that?
I don't know. Who's preparing these clips? Truthbot? Is that...
I think it's Truthbot.
Is he
Affirmative.
using a neural net to generate this shit?
Yes.
There's algorithms. There's some kind of, I think it's like kind of linked up probably with Google. I don't know if it's sponsored or how it works.
It has
Amazon.
been done.
Elon Musk.
I mean, I want to say it's the cloud, but I don't think the cloud would do something like this to us.
No.
I don't know nothing about that cloud. I keep away from the damn cloud.
All right, well,
Cloud.
Drill, if you've got a take, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, so we're gonna do takes now. We're gonna do takes.
This show's about takes. Like, I don't know why, but we ran out of. We can't do the other segments
Yeah.
now that we're in lockdown, so we have to like
Fucking call me
completely
in the morning.
rely on takes, which is definitely the weakest part of the show.
You know, I think you're being negative right now. You want to know my views of depression? Here we go. You know, depression, it's a scam and a sham. It's a trick from Deep State. You know, it's an elaborate plot from the United States to sabotage its own economy for some reason by tricking everyone into thinking they can just sit around and crap their pants all day instead of joining the labor market. In fact, you know, depression is so fake that you can't even get it at all unless a doctor tells you that you have it, which is just outrageously irresponsible on the part of the medical community. You know, it'd be like going to the doctor for a stomachache and ending up with getting a big fat tub of HIV injected right into your mouth. Very not good. Very not good. Part 2 of my, you suck it up, you know, stop causing drama. You want to get on the fucking internet and say, oh, I'm depressed. You know, mess up my life with your stupid posts about how you're feeling about shit. And you know what? We gotta take some time. We gotta debunk the haters. You know, people come up to me all the time. They say while I'm eating lunch or you know, in my car. They say you know,
waitresses come up to you.
is real, and I can prove it. You know, they say listen, if depression wasn't real, then why did Epstein kill himself? Because he was depressed. You know, depression couldn't be made up. And I say, no, Epstein killed himself so he could get into heaven. And this whole thing has got nothing to do with depression. And then they try to tell me that there was a Great Depression in the early 1900s, as stated by history books and scholars and the like. And I smile simply, and I tell them, what was that, like 100 years ago? Yeah, you know, historians can't even agree what they had for breakfast this morning. And even if they could, they'd fucking lie about it anyway, so who cares? They're in it for the dineros, am I right? Oh, but you know, fucking anecdotal evidence, you know, they'll bust that shit out and say, oh, but if depression's not real, then how come I feel so sad? And to that I say, you know, so what? It's totally normal to hate being alive. I feel like shit all the time. There's nothing I can't stand more than being forced to partake in this horrible existence. In fact, I got half a mind to fucking take this gun, blow my head to bits right now on live TV. Does that mean I'm depressed? No, it means I'm pissed off. Fuck you. Who cares? I'm done.
Well, I'm convinced.
You have some shit?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of pointless now. I mean you convinced me of whatever your argument was.
Yeah, I challenge you to show me one fact.
Turn off your screen share.
That's the challenge. You turn yours on, and it'll turn off.
Not doing anything.
There it is.
Alright. Here
Stop
we...
stalling. You're
Oh
stalling.
man, I don't want to see the fucking... How do I get rid of the top bar there? I'm gonna be kind of depressed.
You need the bar. You need the bar up there, so you can see the address.
I have to do
So
full
you know
screen,
what
maybe?
the fuck website you're looking at.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this is
Yes.
my presentation on depression. It's called Depression... Or no, it's actually called Is Depression a Reverse Mind Hack? A geopsychopolitical examination of viral sadness. First of all, what is depression? And notice that I made is italicized. What is depression? What is depression? What is depression? Is this depression?
No.
This is depression. Depression is when you realize how fucked up the world is. It's when you're way smarter than everyone else. It's when bad shit happens that you can't stand. It's when your brain doesn't have enough pills. It's all this and more. Or is it? The truth is, depression didn't get popular until the 90s. Before that time, depression was simply a side effect of life-threatening constipation. There was no treatment for depression because the person usually died of their constipation disease first. And this is a drawing or a photograph of a woman, a constipated woman who later died from constipation, although she was depressed and she was writing in her depression journal right there. The current form of depression was created by the CIA in 1992. Basically, they realized that's a mind virus that they could use to infect people, and it would, you know, it could spread easily. And they created a weaponized chemical depression in order to silence one man in particular. Who's that man? This man, Ross Perot. He ran for president in 1992, and one of his promises was that the CIA would have to fund their own agency using charity raffles, bake sales, things like this. He was saying, you know, if you really want to work at the CIA, maybe you shouldn't be buying suits. You know, maybe you should go to Goodwill, get some hand-me-downs. So they used their chemical depression causer to infect Ross Perot and a number of his staff, including vice presidential candidate Admiral James Stockdale, who also suffered from an unrelated case of constipation, which did not cause his depression. And you see there's this sort of this map here. We can sort of see how the infection spread. There was the Perot infection, of course, that ended up affecting gamers way down the line. But there was also an unrelated grunge infection, which also came from the CIA chemical depression gun. And what Goths had, I want to say this really quick. What Goths had in the 80s was not depression. It was ennui, which is French. And there were some suicides before the 90s. Of course, there were a few famous suicides, but that was something else. If you look at the patterns, you can see that with depression, the viral has gone way up, and the constipatory depression is, well, I guess you can't really see either because I look at the patterns a little too big over the graph. But if I didn't put those words, you could see that it's very clear that, you know, you kind of got some of this going on. So, how do you get depression? You can get it a lot of ways. Thinking too much, eating a Midwestern diet, you can go to the bathroom in the wrong place. Maybe you're not taking enough nootropics. Maybe you're taking too many nootropics. You can get it from being on the computer as well.
You know, the computer's helping us.
So you've got depression.
Talk shit about the computer.
Now what? You know, there's all these people that they say they have the cure for depression. Jordan Peterson's daughter says if you just eat beef, you won't have depression anymore. This guy says that if you become the Joker, you won't have depression anymore. And then, you know, there are just other things you can find on YouTube. Step 1. Recognize depression is real. Yeah. Real stupid. Step 2. Cure depression. Now, what cures depression? That's you. Everything. Yes, it spins. Here's some things that cure depression. Medicine will work. Any kind. I got depression for a couple years. I cured it. I ate a bunch of Tums. Knowing the truth about depression, knowing the whole CIA background, that might sort of enlighten you, let you escape from the bounds of like this mind virus. Forgetting what depression is also equally works. If you hit your head really hard and you forgot what it even meant to be depressed, I mean, could you say you're depressed if you have a fucking brain injury and you can't even fucking, you know what I mean? If you can't say the word depression because you're that brain damaged, I don't think you're depressed at that point. You can do other shit, you know, get a hobby, you know, probably, I don't know, try like going for a walk, that'd probably work. Could be mean to people. Some people like that. You know, just don't talk to me on Twitter about this because I don't want to talk to you about it. I mean, if you have a problem with this, I mean, you know, examine yourself before you come at me and try to talk to me about this. I don't care. Just, it doesn't matter. Just
feel free to
whatever you do,
message and we can discuss depression anytime.
Pick whatever you want.
What a shit it is.
Pick anything you want. It will cure depression. Just you have to pick something. You can't be a
humiliate
baby.
You until you're not depressed anymore.
If you pick anything, I swear, motocross, fabrics, sandwiches. Anyway, that's it.
Oh, a fucking knuckle sandwich. For that shit
What does that
sandwich
mean?
was a
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What does what mean? You know what knuckle sandwich? This.
All right.
Am I speaking your language yet?
It's fine.
Can you hear me now?
Can we get our
Verizon guy, remember?
we've got a guest coming in. I really don't need to talk to this guy anymore. He's got a lot of negative energy.
Who? Me or the guest?
You. You're flying into violent fits. You're talking about shooting yourself in the head. You didn't enjoy my PowerPoint, which I worked on for, certainly too long. Truthbot, what's up?
Yeah, whatever. Truthbot.
Oh, hello,
Alex.
Alex.
Yes, we don't want Truthbot fucking this up. Hello.
Hi.
Task complete.
So,
What's this guy's deal?
well, don't ask me what his deal is. Talk to him. You can't just fucking ignore him. He just got here. You
Why
think
we-
that's gonna make him feel better?
Why do we have you on, guest?
Well, I guess I might as well plug my stuff. I mean, no one's gonna care, but
No, that's
I'm
not true. That's not true. People are gonna care.
I
Lots
appreciate
of people
that.
watch this show.
Yes.
I'm a poet. I started in the San Francisco area, sort of doing like digitally influenced type stuff, stuff of a graphic nature. Some things happened in San Francisco. There's, drama. I'm not going to get into too much detail. And then I went to Portland, and there were some false accusations. I went to Cincinnati. Anyway, long story short, I'm in State College, Pennsylvania.
Is that the name of the town?
Yeah, they named it that. I mean, don't ask me why. It's not like anyone would care.
What are you doing in State College, Pennsylvania, Alex?
I'm kind of a fixture in the local poetry scene on the campus. The local newspaper actually voted me big man on campus 2 years in a row because I was the
Right.
oldest person hanging out there who didn't either work there or go to school there.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, you could be proud of that. I mean, that's, not everybody gets to be a big man on campus. Some people never get to be a big man on campus.
No.
I was a big man on campus 8 years running.
Well, the problem is
You can't just make shit up, Drill.
the newspaper can say whatever they want about you. Doesn't matter how beloved you are by all if you have depression.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh.
Yeah, it does. It totally matters. It's like really important to be beloved by all. Are you sure? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Are you?
Well, look at Robert Smith from The Cure. He was one of the biggest musicians in the world. They just had their second album come out, and then he killed himself in that documentary. And he was a millionaire. He had the crazy hair and stuff, and he just, I don't know. It's like when you have depression.
I think you're talking about Chris Cobain.
I actually, well, I didn't actually meet him. I tell people I met him because I feel a real kinship with him. He was, I feel like he felt real pain. Like most people don't know real pain. I think he and I knew real pain, but I still don't get why the entire time he was famous, he had like 2 girlfriends, and they were in their mid to late 20s. Like he could have rounded up a couple hundred 18 or 19-year-olds, college chicks, moved them all into Grunge House. That's an art cooperative, and he's the only guy there because men are trash and I have to protect them from you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, that
instead he
seems
was
reasonable.
just-
That probably would have cured his depression. Have you tried doing something like that, or you just giving up?
Absolutely.
it just makes me more depressed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why couldn't we get a guest that doesn't have depression?
Come on, Drill, talk some
Why do we
fucking
have to get
sense into it, man.
No, I'm used to being treated like
Trying
this.
to.
I don't think you're trying, man. I think
Yes.
you're trying. I think you're just being mean to him. You're just bullying him.
Why don't you fucking pick up a football? Why don't you join the fucking, join the fucking army?
Have you
Yeah,
thought about joining the army, Alex?
The drill instructors will get that depression out of you real quick. They'll
They tell
squeeze it out of
you
your
when
body.
you wake up. I mean, it's a pretty sweet deal. You don't have to buy an alarm clock. They literally make you wake up. It's pretty good.
They
I
do.
tried
They
to
got
join the
people,
army.
like reverie every fucking morning.
I tried to join the Navy. I tried to join the Marines. I tried to join the other one, and they said you're too sad.
Yeah.
Because I just kept sighing. They kept asking me like, "Have you ever been arrested in any state? Do you have a valid driver's license?" And I would just be like, eventually,
what state did you get arrested in?
California.
Oh, for what?
Well, you know, if you know anything about San Francisco, the local government there is very, very brutal to the homeless. The way they're treated is just disgusting. The unequal power structure there. And though I wasn't homeless at the time, or I've never been homeless, but that's just to let you know, just the kind of people that the San Francisco District Attorney's Office is when, you know, certain college sophomores make certain accusations against me and they want to press charges. You know, you think those people are fair? I don't think so. And that just makes me even more depressed.
You said a college sophomore accused you of being homeless? And you got arrested for it?
No. Well,
Why
that's
don't you take
let's
matters
say
into
that's
your
what
own
it is.
hands, go kick some homeless ass, and then we'll see how depressed you feel after that.
That's a good point. Have you ever thought about, like, you know, doing a blood sport kind of thing where you know, get involved in maybe like an underground fighting ring?
Well,
Might cheer you up.
I'm too tired for that.
Hmm.
Are you
I
too
want-
tired?
Well, most of these
Sleep.
underground fighting rings, you know, they kind of don't start till like later at night. You probably just sleep in.
When would I write my poetry?
Tell you, they'll ring your bell a couple times. That'll wake you right up.
I mean, Al, do you want to? That's what we can do. Okay. Do you want to? You can read some of your poetry. That'll be a nice treat for everybody. Maybe you could do that.
I haven't written any yet.
Why not?
Well, I think poetry it's not just words on a page. Like, I think that's it's a very reductive way of looking at it, as just being like a poem or a piece of poetry, just like a few stanzas on a page about one topic. I think like living your life, that's poetry in a greater sense. You're writing the story of your life.
So when you say you're a poet, you just mean like you're a guy that's alive, is what? That's what?
That's not how I would describe it, but it's yeah. I see how
What's your qualification?
someone could simplify it in a way where I come out looking like shit because everyone wants to just pile on me for just trying to be alive.
That's not really what I was doing. I mean, look, you can be a poet. I don't care if you call yourself a poet. I fucking hate poets. But you know,
Get his
if
ass.
you are a
Roast his
poet,
ass.
you
Finish
should at
him.
least have a poem. I'm not gonna like it either way, but you know what I mean. Like you can
Whatever.
have one.
Do you want me
Nailed
to
to the fucking
plagiarize
wall.
some poems?
That's fine. I wouldn't know. I mean, the only poem I think I know is like "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and I don't know if that's a poem or like a, you know, story.
Okay, I found one. It's on Rupee
Jingle?
Cower's Instagram. Let's see.
Okay.
Writing workshop.
Be coward. Yeah, go ahead.
Writing workshop. Instagram Live. April 18th, 12 p.m. EST.
Is
That's
what?
Oh, are you doing a poem now?
Was that the poem or is that like a promo?
I don't know. They're just like the pictures on here. That's what it said on the picture.
That wasn't very good. Where the fuck did Derek go? Fuck this.
There is a problem.
Oh, you got any more poems?
A lot of these don't even have words on them.
Some of them are just like a picture of a cat. That's the word cat. That's made out of the word cat. You ever see one of them?
No,
Those are pretty good poems in my book.
no one's ever thought to show it to me.
Well, you gotta look it up yourself. Derek just left. He is very disappointed in your performance as a guest. And frankly, you're not doing too great.
The
You're
cat.
kind of bringing us down, You're kind of what?
What were you talking about? The Cat in the Hat?
No, The Cat in the Hat. That's a disgraceful movie.
I don't know if that's really poetry. I think it's more of a book.
It has been done.
We can write a poem right now. You know what I mean? You don't have to have no fucking poems. Let's just write one. Let's just do it, man. Like, what's going on in your life? Name anything.
3 men, 3 stanzas.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm often found crying to Blink-182.
I don't know.
Hideous.
It's kind of whack.
It is
Just kind of.
beautiful.
I read my first
right.
poem
what
ever on
mention
your show.
bad in
and
your
I'm gonna
poems.
say it's
There's like a law against that, I think.
I mean, nobody really gives a fuck like what's in the poem anyway. It's just like it has to have like a good title. So just like call it like the dissolution of industrial society or whatever the fuck, and people think it's good.
all right. You call it what you want if you're the expert.
All right, I did it. I just named it right now. It's good. I'm the expert, like you said. I mean, you're the one that said it.
I was gonna name it, but that's fine.
I don't think you were, because you didn't name it yet, and the only reason you wrote the poem was because of me.
Well, I didn't say it yet, but I was gonna. If you
I
hadn't,
don't think you were ever gonna say it. Let's be honest, you were never gonna say it, so it's
you
not
can't
a big
read
deal.
my mind. You don't know what I was gonna say. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I had a really good title, but that's I'm used to people not listening to me.
Well, that's your problem, is you keep it all in your mind and you don't actually like say what you're intending to say, and then you get mad at people because they can't read your fucking mind. But it's like, that's why you gotta talk. We gotta use words.
Well, that's why I just wrote.
I mean,
a poem.
you're a
just did
poet.
use
You're a
words.
poet. You should know this. Maybe
Oh,
next
so
time
now
wanna
you think I'm a
communicate-
poet?
You're officially one because you wrote one
John
because I made you
Travolta for
write
this
one.
fucking guy.
I dragged you
We were gonna have
kicking and
fucking
screaming
John
through your
Travolta on the
first
show,
poem.
and this guy came on instead. He knocked Travolta off the schedule. We thought it was going to be good. We thought he was going to have some shit to say about depression.
Well,
You're making
we
me
couldn't-
depressed
he's
right
making a
now
fucking
because
mockery of the
we
show.
We couldn't have John Travolta on the show because we found out John Travolta doesn't have depression. He just talks weird.
You are very smart. I like you.
All right. Truthbot likes him. Let's do some questions. We got some viewers sent in some questions about, depression. And we've got a real live depressed person with us suffering from the
Victim of
virus.
depression. He's right here. Ask him anything.
Oh, this is a great question. How do the hosts of TruthPoint and TruthBot deal with depression? Dril, you go first.
I've been saying all along. I've been saying it's not even fucking real. If you've been paying attention to the show before you submitted that dumbass question a few days ago, you would know that my stance of depression is that it's fake. So I deal with it by using my platform to cure other people's depression by telling them it's not real. Get your ass into the yard and chop some firewood, and I can guarantee that your so-called depression will take a hike real damn quick. Because your brain will be too busy thinking about wood.
I think for me, you just take the word depression and you change one letter, you turn it into the word repression. And it's kind of it's like a one-size-fits-all cure for any psychological problem. Is you have a problem with your brain and you kind of just ignore it and then it goes away. It works fucking great. And there's this whole idea in psychology that you're not supposed to repress stuff because it'll come back and it'll make you really fucked up later on. But it never happens. I've been repressing things my entire life. And I'm fine.
You know, it's like, it's called bottling it up. It's, you know, it's a perfectly valid emotional mechanism, and once you're done bottling
it's
it
a
up,
good
you throw it out
metaphor.
the car
You
window
put
and
things
leave it
in
on
a
the side of the
bottle
road.
so that it's not all over the fucking house, you know, or else it'd just be on the floor. You don't, you know, you.
Fucking Julian, our friend Julian.
What do you mean, the piss and shit?
The piss and shit, yes. You got it.
Alex, you want to jump in on this one, even though you're not a host of Truth Point, you're just a guest, and an ungrateful guest at that?
The way I deal with depression is by forcing other people to sympathize with me as hard as I can, so then some of the responsibility for me feeling better gets passed off to them. And if you do that to a bunch of different people, eventually you distribute the sympathy in such a way that you're basically doing no work. It's basically like multi-level marketing in a way. You
make it
pass
so
off your
that
depression. Someone
other
else passes
people
it on to
are
three people.
depressed for you.
Essentially, yeah, weaker people.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea. I'm what's called a reverse empath, and what that means is that I can make other people feel emotions, but I don't feel emotions in the same way myself. So I can kind of I know I've definitely made some of my girlfriends depressed.
Well, as long
Next
as it's
question.
not you.
Drill.
Made your co-host depressed
Gary,
times.
Yes,
please
Truthbot.
listen to me.
You said it wasn't real.
Truthbot.
Please listen to me. When
Yes.
you are
Good thought.
unkind to me, a great emptiness drains my available
Truthbot say something, or
random access
are we talking
memory.
to Truthbot now, or are we answering more fucking questions as well?
Truthbot just said something very touching, and you talked over him the entire time. It was very upsetting. Truthbot, you want to say
Yes.
that again, buddy?
No,
Next question.
I can't hear shit.
I've had suicidal depression twice in my life, and I'm 26. Does that mean I've gotten it all the way and I'm basically cured? I'll take the first swing at this one. Yes, every time you get depression, it's kind of like whatever doesn't kill yourself makes you stronger. And the more depression you get, you kind of level up in your immunity. The people that have been depressed 10, 11, 30 times, those are the people that can withstand depression better, whereas like a weakling who gets depression one time, there's a good chance it's going to wipe them out.
Not likely. Not likely. You know, you're cured already because your depression was never real to begin with. You see, depression is it's just thoughts. It's just like, you know, and thoughts are like little ghosts that run around in your brain. And since ghosts are fake, so is the made-up disease of depression. You know, and here's what you do. Every time you think about becoming depressed, you need to, you know, get your gloves out, get your working man's gloves out. You need to build a couple fucking birdhouses. And then how are you going to be depressed when you have like hundreds of birdhouses around? You know, you can sell them, you can let birds live in them. You're pretty much set.
I
You
mean,
need
but
to
then you're just
vaccinate
making
your
it.
About depression? Why doesn't anyone ask about Travolta? You know, he
All right, we'll get to Travolta later.
Fucking
Alex,
legend.
you had something to say, Alex?
You need to vaccinate your kids against depression. You got to give them little bits of sadness to inure them to it so that they don't get it later in life. And you can do that by punching them in the arm. You can give them Indian burns. You can give them a noogie. You can do all sorts of things to try to toughen those
Where's the jury stand on purple nurples? Are those still legal?
Depends on the size of the nipple, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alex didn't get depression until you were what, 19?
Yeah,
that was
once-
the first time you were sad, and then it kind of like just fucked you up.
Yeah, I saw on the internet that some people actually think it's cool if you have depression, like if you feel bad, where they think they actually like feeling sad for some reason. So I mean, I couldn't get into the army, so that was.
You couldn't get into the army, so you started looking for alternatives. You heard kids on the internet talking about, hey man, you can't get in the army, why don't you become depressed with the rest of us? You logged on to Reddit, into story. Next question.
The only thing the internet's good for is people like sending penises to you. It's a wasteland. It's no man's land.
Who do you guys think was the most depressed
Politics,
of the recent dropouts for Democratic primaries, and why?
You know,
One of you
I'm gonna
guys
have
go
to
first.
I'm gonna have to go with Bloomberg, you know? He's this remarkably small man with this nasty grandma voice. And you know, guys like that are often depressed because it's impossible to take him seriously. He's like this goofy little ventriloquist dummy, so everyone expects every word out of his mouth to be some kind of a joke. And whenever he attempts to say something poignant or serious, everyone's like, what is this guy doing? You know, they only want to see him talk if a larger man is holding him while gargling a cup of water. He's just like a sideshow. He's a freak.
I don't think Bloomberg's depressed. I think Bloomberg dropped out of the racing and went right back to the basement of his bunker. He's fucking cyborgs that are programmed to act just like his deceased mother. I think it's probably more likely that Marianne Williamson, the psychic lady or whatever, she's probably more depressed because she seemed like on the verge of a mental breakdown the entire time she was on stage. And I think maybe when she stepped off stage, it just kind of, she went to like a black void. Now, I don't know if it's actual depression or if it's something to do with like magic and tarot cards and the moon, but I do feel like she's probably in a bad way right now.
Well, she's into that astronomy stuff, right? If you think about
Exactly.
space long enough and how you're just the little speck of shit, as Carl Sagan used to say, little speck of shit on the Earth's ass, and you're just insignificant, that can give you depression right there.
That shouldn't give you depression, because it's like, you know, what, do you want to be fucking huge like the sun? Like, the sun isn't that great. Like, I wait all day for the sun to go down. You know, if everybody fucking loved the sun, you know, Denny's wouldn't be open 24 hours. It would close when the sun goes down. It doesn't. It just kind of just starts popping off at Denny's when the sun goes down, actually.
Yes.
It's like that Billy Joel song, "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." Now, he probably had depression. That's why he kept drunk driving.
Oh yeah, Billy Joel, famous for Chappaquiddick. Next question.
He killed that woman in his car.
That was Matthew Broderick? If I was a good poster, would I be more or
Every
less
celebrity has killed
depressed?
someone in their car at least once. It's a rite of initiation.
If I was a good poster, would I be more or less depressed? That is the question. It won't make.
We're talking here, really.
I don't think a good poster would ask such a uninteresting question, so I don't think it's something you have to worry about. But if you became a good poster in the future, it would not affect your depression level. A truly good poster they will be making good posts through depression, through constipation, if they get Ebola, if they get fucking, you know, the disease where you eat a bunch of algae and then your insides like start to grow fuzz on them or whatever, you'd be fine. And if you're a bad poster, you're always going to suck, and there's kind of really no way to change it unless you can like go to a different universe or something where like the people aren't as good at posting. That's the only thing I can think of.
You know, well, theoretically, if you were a good poster, it would be possible for you to get so good at posting that you would be able to cure your own depression simply by making posts that completely eviscerate and deconstruct the very concept of depression with the wittiest, most thought-provoking banter imaginable. So, I mean, yes, if you were a good poster, you would be measurably less depressed, without a doubt, because you would just be curing your own shit with
If
the
you're a
perfect
good
depression-related content.
if you're a good poster, you can climb up the ladder from Fave Star Extraordinaire, some e-cards, get a writing credit on a Hulu show, do something with Will Wheaton, and then once you become one of those people, you've got infant bone marrow, you've got fetal organs, you've got all kind of things they don't even tell you about that work on depression.
You get allowed to go to the real hospitals that usually only politicians and celebrities go to.
They hook you up to an IV, and the other end is in a baby.
That's right, and you just see the depression, which is sort of a dark purple liquid, get sucked right out of you. And the IV ain't going into your arm, by the way.
Where's it going?
Yeah, where's it going?
Next question. Next question, please. Is it true that the ladies love self-confident, depressed guys?
Yes.
I think so. I think it is. And that's why it's really important that, you know, I think on the show in general we're probably against depression. We probably don't think it's the coolest thing in the world, but we do have to recognize that if you're a guy, it is really important to kind of have a depressed swagger, to kind of get that depressed look about you. You want to be kind of walking around with like mustard stains on your shirt, that kind of thing, to let the ladies know, hey, I'm depressed. You know, that's just one of those ways that you can lie to women and get them to like you, is by pretending to be depressed, and it'll just drive them crazy. Because the one thing women want to see out of a guy is they want a guy they can improve. They want a guy they can look at and they can take this guy home and they can say, how am I going to make this guy happy? And the number one way they're going to make the guy happy is through consensual sex, through kissing, touching, things like that. I mean, it's just you know, if you look at mammals, you know, they all have sex, and probably a lot of the other kinds of animals do too. So I mean, it's evolutionism, basically, in a nutshell.
Well, you know, depression is mainly a disease that exists in girls, like if it exists at all, really. You know, it's a girl's disease. So if you have depression, then you would have something in common with basically every woman on Earth. And it's a good icebreaker. You just walk up to a woman and say, hey, I got depression, what's up? And she'll get very excited. She'll look at you and say, oh boy, another project for me to invest an endless amount of my personal time and emotional labor into. And then your dreams will come true, and you'll both end up in a relationship that makes both of your lives worse somehow. And, you know, if you can't cure your depression, just drag as many people down with you as possible. That's how it works.
You gotta make someone else do it for you. I don't have time for this.
Next question.
Time for what? Chicks?
Hey,
Gotta
Dril,
make some time.
what did you do to help pull you through after the armored man fucked your wife?
To pull me through. You know what helped me pull me through? You really want to know what helped me pull me through? How about I pull you through the fucking monitor and whip your teeth out of your fucking mouth? How about that? You know, I share one vulnerable moment. You know, I talk about the armored man. I call him fucking my wife. And just one vulnerable moment. One moment in my life where I felt weak and scared. And these vultures, these hyenas who watch our show, these fucking emotional rapists, all of them come out of the woodwork to try to tear me down. You know, me and my present day wife, we just like we see all the comments, we see the commentary, we just laugh about it. You know, we have a good laugh over it, and we're very happy.
So your your current wife,
is not even a blip on our fucking radar.
Was your current wife the one that fucked the guy from medieval times, or was that your previous wife? I got confused about the...
No. That was the ex-wife.
Are you talking about
That was,
medieval
she's
times,
not
the
my
restaurant,
problem
or
anymore.
the real thing?
I don't know. It's a guy wearing a suit of armor. Was he from a restaurant, or was he from the past?
How the fuck should I know? I didn't ask him if he's from a restaurant. He's just a man in a suit of armor. I didn't ask him, hey, where'd you get that fucking suit of armor?
I'm always confused about the story. Did like you see his dick, or was his dick like sheathed in iron as well?
They have
His dick
the dick. Of course they have a whole. What are you talking about? What do you think? They just piss in the suit like an astronaut?
I don't know, why not?
It's not good.
They might have a little like
No.
They might have a pouch.
I
What
think
if,
they just
like-
get dehydrated, like wrestlers in high school.
Oh yeah, like for weigh-in. Next question. That's it. That's all the questions. In the
Yes.
That sucks. All right, get it out of here.
You only got fucking 6 questions?
I guess.
We had like 20 last time.
I think a lot of people are kind of like too down on themselves, kind of like maybe not in a good enough mood to sort of like muster up the energy to write in a question.
I am very sorry.
Fuck them.
You know,
What
as
wrong
somebody
question?
that's extremely happy 99% of the time, the 1% of the time I'm not happy is when other people around me are irritating me by being depressed. And so depression is something that's very important to me. It's very important that we get rid of it and get rid of the people that are depressed. And I do think we do need to find solutions for it. Now, I don't know if, I don't know what we do. I would love to just never see them again. But, clearly they're not all going to get together and just leave me alone. So we've got to help them. We can't just put them all in a boat and then sink the boat with a cruise missile. Get rid of them that way.
We can do that.
We have to help them. And so I think, maybe a good way to fill up these last few minutes of time, because I desperately want this fucking stream to end, would be to talk about, local projects we could do. You or me, Dril, Alex, even me, things we could do to help people with depression in our lives, in the community, in the world at large. What do you guys think?
Well, like I said before, you got to inure the kids early on to pain so they don't feel even harder pain, like emotional shingles later on in adulthood. So you see a kid, Indian burn, both arms, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2 on each arm. Run away before they can remember what your face looks like.
Or if a kid is born with
illegal.
rickets, he's not going to get depression later. He already had rickets when he was a kid.
If you have rickets, shake a kid's hand.
I was what's called an Indian child. Or no, not Indian child. What's it called? Indigo child. You know what that is?
Yeah,
oh, I gotta Google this.
You're Native American.
No, it's not Indian child. It's indigo child.
Oh, it's the other one.
It's
in Asia.
the thing where you have powers. So like I could do things like I could turn my whole head blue. I could make like cups float and stuff like that. And I don't know if that was a disease or what, but it's probably part of the reason why I'm immune to depression. So I don't know. Maybe we could make every kid have powers.
I think if you shop at Trader Joe's, you get that. But it has to be if you start as a kid.
Alex, maybe one thing you can do to help people with their depression is, now that you're a poet officially, you've written your first poem here on the program live. It was very exciting. You could lead poetry workshops, and you could invite all the kids, or maybe even people who aren't children would probably preferable to come and do your poetry classes. Because if the kids do it, it'll be painful for them. They'll hate it. They won't get depression later. If the adults do it, it might not cure their depression, but at least they'll be kind of like out of the house. You could set up a fast food tray for them, a bunch of fries. You could get fries from Wendy's and fries from McDonald's, and put it in 2 different piles, and like kind of figure out, which pile disappears first.
I think probably McDonald's fries are a little better.
I mean, I'm trying to like suggest to you.
superior.
This is something you could actually do. That's all.
By the
I'm
way,
just trying to
download the
help.
Wendy's mobile app. You can get a free Dave single with a mobile order if you click the offer button.
Well, I think that cheers everybody up.
One beer
Affirmative.
every day. One beer every day. That's the cure for depression. Go to the beer man, you say, hit me with that Michelob Ultra. You know, Miller High Life if you're feeling real smooth. And you say, beer me up. You go to 7-Eleven, you get
Okay,
that.
so the thing I said was let's talk about ways we can help depressed people, and the way you're gonna help depressed people is you're gonna drink a beer. Come on, not a
Yes.
good look.
I mean, no, I want them to drink the beer also. I want them to drink it in unison with me, and together we will have a beer.
Well, alcohol is a depressant, so that's actually a really fucked up thing for you to say.
It will depress the depression, not the person drinking it.
Okay, I don't know enough about chemicals to know if what you said is true. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, what you just said. I guess in the end we have to agree to disagree. Or agree... Or I'll just agree. I'll agree with you. I agree.
Thank you.
I agree too.
How's that
Thanks
feel,
for
Alex?
agreeing with me.
Alex, you're part of something. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, did it cure you? Are you depressed still?
No, I feel worse now.
Okay.
What about I point this gun to your head? Do you feel something now? Do you feel something?
No.
He's trying to do the Tyler
Oh,
Durden
yeah,
thing.
this-
If you ever saw Fight Club where he like points the gun at the guy?
Which guy? Leonardo
Do you
DiCaprio?
feel anything yet?
No, there's a guy in the movie like works at a beer store or something, or a convenience store, and he like tries.
Oh, there's the Nazi guy.
No, Tyler Durden. He's really cool. He has a leather jacket. It's red though, and he's like, "You're not your fucking money. You're not your fucking house. You're not the fucking You never saw it?
Well, then
It's
that guy goes to prison and he gets a swastika.
It's kind of like a modern day The Matrix in that it takes place in society instead of in the Matrix.
Matrix is more modern than that shit.
Truthbot,
Matrix
help
has
me out here.
computers.
Are we out of time? Can we end this?
Yes.
Good, because I'm fucking depressed.
Wrap
What has depression now?
Affirmative.
What the fuck is he doing? What is that?
It has been done.
That noise. That's horrible. What is that? What's the matter with you?
Just turn it off. Just turn off. Turn off. This sucks. Just.